Tonight, it's an interesting topic on the nourishment of happiness. Um, so it's called in Hindi, it's an interesting word. It's called Kurak, nourishment. So let us see what is this happiness as nourishment. These days, there is so much nourishment, that we pay attention for the body, right, towards the body. I think there are so many number of diets out there. Every time the scientists actually come up with different grains, and every time they come up with an interesting new grain and talking about the importance of the grain and how it nourishes the body, right? And so we pay so much attention towards the nourishment of the body, going for new foods. If we, gain a little weight, we think, oh my gosh, what kind of diet I need to switch to, so that, my weight, the weight of the body stabilizes. And if there's something wrong with the tummy, okay, what kind of diet should I take? Something wrong with the digestive system, what kind of diet should I go for? And how can I nourish this food? So every time, I think it's a huge, this food industry is such a huge thing, and a lot of people are into this, nourishment factors, and also the vitamins, that we give to our body. And especially since the pandemic started, how many vitamins, right? I mean, there are some basic vitamins that we give to our body, but everyone is taking more of vitamin C and this and that, so many things. So, how much of attention and interest we show towards the nourishment of the body? So, do we also show the same kind of interest, um, towards the nourishment of the soul? So, what nourishes the soul? Because we are souls, and of course we have this body, and so we are this soul having a body. So we're paying attention to what body needs, but what does soul need? And so let me, bring it up a few slides on this interesting topic of nourishment, happiness as nourishment for the soul, for the body, and for everything. So how does this nourishment actually works? Happiness as nourishment. And so in Hindi, it's a nice phrase. It's called kushi. Kushi ek kurak hai, they say kurak. It's a nice word, kurak. And so let me bring it up. And can you see the screen? Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, the nourishment of happiness. So they say there is no nourishment like happiness. We all love to be happy, right? Think about the energy that we feel when we are happy. How do we feel when we are actually happy? Let me actually bring up. Let's see. Okay. So, yes, how do we feel being happy? And we all actually strive to be happy, right? If anybody, if we ask anybody in the world, somebody is unmuted and making a lot of noise. Can you mute yourself, please? Yeah, if you want to say something, please unmute. Otherwise, keep yourself muted. still somebody unmuted.
We feel light and very energetic when we are happy, and there's a like glow which you radiate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's right. That's right. And so happiness is, such an attainment. Actually, happiness is an attainment, right? And which we want to experience every moment. But today's session is not about I'm sitting here and talking about, okay, this is the happiness, this is what happiness means, and we all agree to that, and this is wonderful. And then just after the session, we get upset with something, and our happiness is gone out of the drain. uh, so let's actually become a little authentic because we know this happiness and how it feels to be happy. But let us be a little more authentic and, think about it that am I really happy? And do I eat this nourishment of happiness every single day? Am I really concerned about my well being? How much attention that I give to my physical body, do I give the same sort of attention to my internal well being, towards the well being of the soul? If you're sad for some time or the happiness disappear, do you get concerned? Do you work on it towards it? Or do you think this is the part of life? It's okay, to be sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be in pain. This is the way life is, let's continue this way. If there is something that is bothering you inside and it's making you upset, do you immediately, look into it and think, no, what is this? It's bothering me. How can I correct this immediately? Do you actually pay attention to that? Do you take the responsibility of your well-being, or do you think, okay, this is the way it is, let it be, or you just continue that pain to carry on in life? So something to let us actually really go into a practical thing of, how much am I happy today, and what can I actually do? So each one of you who is listening to this session, take it very personally. Like, what is that, how is that you want to, um, learn, and how is that you want to, like, the sessions are wonderful that we do because it's at least, making us again pay attention to these things, right? To these beautiful feelings that are there, and sometimes we don't pay attention to it. So let me ask this question to myself. Each one of you, ask yourself, how often do you eat this nourishment? Every day, or sometimes, or you even forget to eat it. Sometimes we have lots of fruits, lots of things in our fridge, uh, but then we still don't eat it. They're just sitting there. So, in the same way, I already have as a soul, I already have this beautiful, feeling, this energy, this virtue of happiness, this nourishment of happiness, this attainment of happiness in the soul. But how much do we emerge it? So I need to ask myself. So think about it for a moment. That um, because many times, how do we see actually happiness as? And when many times our happiness is based on a condition, we all know this, right? If I have this, I'm happy. If I this is fine, I'm happy. If this goes well, I'm happy. So we condition ourselves to experience happiness always. So think for a moment, when you separate yourself from everything that you have conditioned to experience happiness, are you still happy internally? When was that moment you didn't, your happiness didn't depend on anything, not a person, not a physical material, not the things that you wore or an occasion. When was that authentically a moment you've experienced when you were really happy inside? You know, so go to that moment of happiness, and when you experience those moments of happiness, how you felt inside. Did you feel energetic? Did you feel wonderful inside? Did you feel powerful? And that's what happiness is. Just like how when we give food to our body, it gives a certain nourishment, it's giving power to the body, that is physical strength, right? In the same way, happiness is that experience of the soul, the attainment of the soul, which makes the soul powerful, and especially the mind in the soul. So think about it when, say, physically, even you're weak at some point, and you heard a good news, or you created a thought for yourself. No matter what's going on, to my body, but still let me be happy. Or you created that self-awareness to be happy. Just think how your mind felt, though you're going through something. You get all energy to be fine, right? Even if somebody asks you, how are you? You'll say, yeah, I'm getting there, right? You won't go into the whole thing like, oh, I'm feeling like this is going on, that is going on. So, happiness is that strength. Do we see happiness actually as a power, as a strength that strengthens our mind? When I'm happy, it's like I feel I'm on the top of the world, right? The mind feels very, very powerful. Though you don't have physically strength, you want to do everything because you're happy, right? And so the mind would never become weak when there is happiness. It would always be powerful.
And systematically, like sometimes, like when you talk that happiness gives you strength, sometimes I've seen and even experienced that even if you're like little weak or you're not feeling well, but if you hear some good news, or there's someone shares something which is very good, actually that heals the body itself. And then
It's
you
true.
forget that, oh, you were sick or something like that.
Hmm. But you see, there is a slight thing that we have to learn there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I know it's conditional, not
Condition.
conditional.
When
But
somebody said something, then I
yeah,
felt happy. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
but
what we have to, like, fix it in this, listening to the session, like, remind ourselves, like, how much do I condition my happiness?
no, this condition I felt when I was like little not feeling well, and I was though pushing myself to get up and take a walk even though I had a fever. But then I heard some good news and I was like, wow, and then suddenly that energy came up even. So
Yes.
I don't know, right? It worked for me, and then after that I didn't feel any pain or anything like that in the
Right.
body.
You
So
see, that's what is the power of happiness. Like,
yes, so I just wanted to share my experience.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's what happens when, it's a very powerful energy that we carry, this happiness. And so the mind actually becomes powerful, and the mind, when there is happiness, naturally the mind inclines to think positive, because a powerful mind thinks positive, right? And so you can see this link that a powerful mind has a powerful stage. So when I have a powerful mind, so the mind is happy, the mind is powerful. And so when the mind is powerful, my sthiti, it's called sthiti in Hindi, which is like the stage of the soul, is powerful. Meaning, as you said, you want to do everything. The soul feels very energetic, right? Because the soul is the one who's driving this body. So when the soul feels happy, when the soul feels powerful, then it's actually driving the body well. Its actions are powerful too. So um, how does it look like when the mind is powerful, the stage is powerful? What is the result of that is we remain actually stable, unshakable and immovable. We remain actually stable. When we are happy internally, we're stable as well, because things wouldn't actually make me fluctuate. Now, one is that we are talking about happiness, but the other is that we all actually experience ups and downs in our life. There are situations in our life. So it is wonderful when everything is wonderful. We have a good occasion at home or good results and we are happy. But there, it's not always like that. Sometimes we experience, turmoil too, right? Sometimes there are downs as well. So when there is a down, can I still be happy at that moment? How can I be happy at all times? And so, one of the nourishment, you're seeing that when there is nourishment of happiness, it can actually, because your own strength, your own power is helping you transform mountain like situation into a cotton wool. This is the month that we are, reflecting a few qualities of our Dadi Janki. Dadi Janki, who was our main spiritual resource, she was a very, very powerful soul, um, who practiced Raj Yoga from the age of 21 to 104. And last year, in March, she left the body. So this month we've been reflecting. And so this morning I was listening, to one of her stories. And, she was a soul who actually never got affected by anything that was happening out there. She created that stage for herself. It's not that we wouldn't get affected, but there is something that I need to work internally, right? It could be my meditation, my affirmations, my practices are so powerful that I don't get affected. And that's what Dadi did. Dadi practiced, and she made her lifestyle in such a way, being very close to God. She's a soul who, uh, you know, she never got affected by anything. Like this morning, I was listening that even if somebody said something, it wouldn't even enter Dadi. you know. But how many things affect us, and our happiness is just gone like that in seconds. In seconds, it's gone. But for Dadi, she faced a lot of things. She's definitely one of the beautiful example to talk about, when we're talking about this nourishment of happiness. And Dadi is one of them who also spoke a lot about nourishment of happiness. I was hearing this morning that no matter what happened, people said things to her, even physically. Also, Dadi was not like a huge, like physically. Also, her personality was not like she was tall and big, but she was very short and she was very, um, you know, like very simple. Um, and so she faced a lot in her life, but she never allowed anything to bring down her happiness or to bring down her connection with God and her spirituality. She never allowed anything to affect that. She never allowed her soul or mind to become weak. So anything, a situation like a mountain was nothing for her. Like she had to travel so many hours, even after she was 100 years old or 101, 2, 3. She didn't bother. Like she didn't, she carried herself as if she was young, and she was powerful, and she was a powerful soul. Though she had physical limitations, but that he never allowed. So sharing about Dadi, I'm just thinking, how can we, as we are reflecting on this beautiful value of happiness, this nourishment of happiness, how can we actually work on having this happiness, holding this happiness, experiencing this happiness internally in the soul, and not conditioning it to anything and not allowing it to just go out of the window just like that. And so that's why, you know, they say happiness is actually like a mercury. They say your happiness is like mercury. Uh, what does mercury do? How slippery mercury is. This moment you're experiencing, this moment it's like mercury is so slippery, right? Like you see in the thermometer, very slight increase of temperature or decrease of temperature, it shows us, it fluctuates. So somehow our happiness has become like that mercury which fluctuates. This moment I'm happy, and the next moment, what is happening? What is happening that our happiness is disappearing? How many times did you experience that? This moment, oh, wonderful. I'm like on the top of the world. The next moment, something slight happened, and my happiness is disappeared completely. So, two questions here to reflect. So, if my happiness is just disappearing like that, first of all, what makes me happy? So, think for a moment, what makes you happy? Think for, is your happiness, how much your happiness is conditioned? If this is there, I'm happy. If that is there, I'm happy. But yet, we all want this happiness, right? And then we condition it so much. So somewhere we get confused with comforts as happiness. Don't you think so? It's like, when we have
Yes.
this, I'm happy. When I buy a nice car, I'm happy. When I get this jewelry, I'm happy.
Yeah,
What
it's like
this
conditional
wonderful
happiness.
things, I'm happy. Hmm?
It's like conditional happiness. If I have this, I'm happy. If I attain this, I'm happy.
Yeah. So, but then just think about it. Uh, if for a say, for example, I wore a nice piece of jewelry, and I think, that particular thing is giving me happiness. How many times you wore beautiful jewelry and you still cried, or you became upset about something? You wore the most beautiful dress, expensive dress. Did that dress give you happiness? Or you sat in a most expensive car, and somebody called you and you became unhappy sitting in that car. So here for a moment, think about it. Comfort is completely different from happiness. I sit in a wonderful car, it's giving me comfort. I'm in a beautiful home, it's giving me comfort. All the things, facilities that I create, I crave for, I have, it's giving me comfort. But having all those comforts also somewhere, I do become sad, right? So what is this happiness? Think for a moment. Happiness is something, I that you know is achieved by what I physically have, or happiness is something that is very much close to the soul, and it is part of the soul, and it is in the soul. So we say I have happiness, or we say I am happy? I'm happy, right? So that means I, as a soul, I have this beautiful energy of happiness, this virtue of happiness. But somewhere I'm forgetting that I'm already happy. Right now, even if I ask myself, what do I want? and just say, I am happy. I'm happy right now. And I can internally feel it. So, what are some of the, reasons that, our happiness gets disappeared and it's like Mercury? This moment it's there, the next moment, Om Shanti, it's gone. So, what is going on with us? So, some of the examples here, but each one of you think, uh, you know, keenly again, what makes your happiness disappear in the last few days, or today, or yesterday, or in the last few days? If you became upset or unhappy about something, what made you unhappy? So, what is the emotion behind that situation or whatever it is that's making you unhappy? And how quickly you can become unhappy? How quickly? And so that means having this unhappiness is making me weaker. If happiness is giving me strength, that means unhappiness is making me so weak internally that I can't think anymore. When I'm unhappy, then think about it, how you behave when you're unhappy. How does the mind behave when I'm unhappy? So this whole roller coaster of thoughts keep coming, right? It's like we get into the trap of thoughts when we are unhappy. So one of the things is that this should not have happened this way. Wish it was this way, wish that way. So always we are conditioning, wish this person behaved like this with me. Wish this person was a little more nicer to me. Or, this shouldn't have happened this way. Or happiness is just gone. So change is there every moment, right? We all experience change every moment. It's drama. This is drama. Every moment it's going on. One moment is not the same as the next. It's like when I'm on a journey, I'm traveling. And so one route is not the same as the next. One scene, as I'm driving, the scenes that I see is not the same. Every second it's changing. In the same way, life has so many scenes and scenarios, but do we want to keep getting unhappy for the scenes that we are not pleasant? Since last year, we've been facing this pandemic. There's so many things in our life which are out of our control. We may be driving and something happened, you know, sitting and, in no second a tsunami comes. You know, I just heard that New Zealand just experienced an hour or 2 hours ago tsunami, and so there's so many things just happening like that. So do we want our happiness to just go up, you know, disappear? What do I want to do, and what are some of the practices I want to really focus on so that I stay in that happiness, I hold that happiness, because I have a right to be happy, right? Because it's my property to be happy. So some of the things that um, get my happiness disappear is one of the things is doubt, right? We get into so many times so many doubts about the future, doubts about what is happening, doubt about people. If something has happened, based on the past events, we doubt the future events as well. And we live in this doubt. Everything is happening fine. Somewhere, it's like we become such beings today that when everything is happening well, somewhere that little doubt is there. Hope everything stays like this, right? How many times did you feel like that? That, nothing should go wrong. Somewhere we fear that something may go wrong when everything is happy. Like the other day, somebody was saying, like, I'm happy this moment, and suddenly, when I think I'm happy, and suddenly I'm seeing, something happening, and I'm becoming sad. So somewhere like this, deep down, these emotions of doubt come. Everything is going well. I hope nothing goes bad, nothing goes wrong. Why do we even have these thoughts? Why are we even creating these thoughts that nothing should go wrong? So this happiness is somewhere is linked to a lot of purity of the soul, like purity of our thoughts. Somewhere we go into these doubts, which is also kind of impurity. This flood of impure thoughts begin. And fear, of course. Today, do you think all the rich countries and rich people having a lot of wealth, they're happy? They say that, when, you're working, okay, you're working hard to, to have, some wealth in your life. And, you hit that line, you hit that bar, and you have that wealth. And you feel happy, yeah, I have this wealth. But then we don't stop there. Somewhere we want more and we want more. We want more. But having all that more is really giving me happiness? Or it's creating more fear that what will happen to all that wealth? Hope nobody takes it away. So much of fear, right? Having wonderful things also, there is fear that somebody may not, hope nobody takes it away from me. There is a lot of fear today that blocks our happiness. So think for yourself, what are you fearful? When is that you go into your fear and your happiness is gone? What things actually make you fearful? Think about it. And also assumptions like, maybe this will happen. Maybe this person is like this. Sometimes everyone actually, you know, no person is always the same. Everyone, maybe a person was like that at some point. But we create those assumptions based on the past. And sometimes we don't want to trust. And then we are blocking that happiness. So assumptions also, maybe like this, maybe like that. And our insecurities also block our happiness, right? Insecurity makes me compete. So in competition, is there happiness in competition? I compete, I want to be there, I want to be there. And then we condition our happiness that when I get there, then I'm happy. Then I'm forgetting my whole journey has actually, um, you know, you know, was unpleasant. Though I got to a certain destination, because I created an unpleasant journey through my insecurities and competition or jealousy. Though I reach a certain destination, having this unpleasant journey, can I be happy even after reaching the destination? Somewhere I've lost many things on that journey, trying to push someone, put someone down through my words, through my attitude, thinking I'm the best. All these insecurities. So, how many relationships I must have lost in the rat race to get to a point to get, because if I achieve that, I'll be happy. But maybe I achieved and I've lost a lot of things. So that's why they say happiness is not the destination, it's a journey. And we all heard this 1,000 times. But yet again, we condition ourselves to reach a certain destination, right? And we forget how actually is my journey to reach there. And desires. There is a saying in Hindi, "Ichha kabhi acha nahi banne deta," meaning when there are desires, like we're just talking about it, the conditions that we put for happiness, one desire after another. So we think all these desires, fulfilling these desires, are giving me happiness. So the point here is that every second, every moment, I, the soul, it's a journey that I need to experience to be happy. It's me who need to be happy, right? No desire is actually making me happy. You may say, no, when I get this, I was happy. I got this, I was happy. But how long? How long you were happy? But when you got that, something happened the next moment. Were you happy? So did that particular thing give you happiness? So desires. Another very strong thing is attachments. Whenever I'm attached to something, there is a consciousness of mine. And when there is a consciousness of mine towards anything, I cannot be happy. No matter how much richness I have in my life, no matter how many people I have in my life, no matter what I have in my life, the moment I'm attached to anything or anyone, my happiness is gone. Because the moment I hold on to something and say, this is mine, that gives me sorrow. So think about it. How many things are you attached to that you have the fear of losing it? Attachment, right? Go very personal to yourself. What makes you lose that happiness? These are some of the points I'm sharing, but go really deep inside and check as we are reflecting on this attachments. What are some of the attachments? Meaning that consciousness of I, mine. This is mine. But think about it for a moment. What is mine? If this moment I leave the body, what is mine? What am I taking? And what is that I'm juggling to have? This is mine, and I'm actually losing my happiness there. Another thing is insult and ego. The words in Hindi are, it's called apman, abhiman. Nice two words, apaman and abhiman. Apaman means like you're feeling insult. The moment I experience any kind of insult, my happiness is gone, right? We live in so much of consciousness of I, this abhiman. I am so and so, I am this. And this ego doesn't allow us to be happy, because the moment somebody will correct me, or the moment somebody will say something, or the moment somebody will behave some way, my happiness is gone again. This nourishment, which is so important, is gone. And when that happiness is gone, we are like mad people, bro. Sad how, and it affects our complete system. The mind is affected, the body, when we are unhappy or upset or unpleasant feelings we have, how we feel. Our physical body also reacts. All sorts of aches and pains we experience even in the physical body. So think about it. How important is this happiness? Can we actually reflect on this and each day create something, an affirmation for me after listening to this session? Yes, I want to be happy. Yes, this is something very important. I just can't become unhappy for silly things and lose this beautiful um, precious thing that I have in me. It's God's gift, and that's why we are on this earth. One of the purpose is to be happy, right? But why is that for little things I'm losing my happiness? So can I correct that? Can I make some practices so that I don't get into this roller coaster of thoughts and lose my happiness? If someone says a little thing, insult, how we lose it. Think about it. Last time, when did you feel insulted and how you felt? Where did your happiness go? So here are some of the practices. Of course, there are a lot, and you can actually create for your own self. This whole month of March, right? The March 21st is actually celebrated as the International Day of Happiness. The UN has declared March 21st as the International Day of Happiness. Okay, one day, we are, um, uh, we are, we have, we're reflecting, or we have uh, this day as the International Day of Happiness, but each day, each moment is important, right? So, this whole month of March, can you keep yourself a chart and check yourself? Am I happy? What did I do today? Or, what did I do? Or, was I happy? Or where did my happiness go? And if I was not happy, what did I do? Where did I go wrong? So create yourself a little chart. So there are some a few reflective points or practices that I thought of for happiness from a spiritual perspective. And so seeing life as a game, and that is true because we all say we are all actors. This is a game that's going on. This is a drama. We are in this drama. And so when we remember and consider this life as a play, I'm actually playing a game. I'm playing, an act. I'm acting in this drama. Then actually I'm happy because an actor doesn't have a consciousness of mind, or an actor is not serious, right? Like somebody was sharing with me this wonderful example of Sachin Tendulkar. Some of you must be knowing he's an Indian cricketer, wonderful player. And so he, at one point, he's very popular in the Indian cricket player. And so uh, he was sharing, it seems, in one of his interviews that he always takes, you know, the game as only game, cricket as game, and when he actually considers cricket as a game and he plays wonderful, and the moment he takes that game serious, I need to win and this and that, then he says something goes wrong. But the moment he thinks, whenever he thought that it's a game and I need to just play, he's light, he's easy, and he played very well. And that's true. Sometimes in life, I have to remember I'm an actor, I'm playing this game, right? I'm a player. And so the moment I take it very serious, this has to be like this, I'm the perfect one, this has to be this way, then I make mistakes. It's like they say, when I consider life as a game, both my head and heart are, in a balanced way. I have, there is a logic to my life. I'm not just like, um, you know, I'm I'm not just living, saying that it's a game. No, I'm logically playing. At the same time, I have that creativity as well. So my brain is in balance, my head and heart is in balance. So, this is one of the ways that I can see, and I don't take things too serious. And the moment I take things too serious, that is something to do with my ego. I need to check, why am I taking it too serious? So another aspect or practices to experience the nourishment of happiness or the attainment of happiness is contentment. Santushtata, contentment. Being content. So this contentment actually goes with the next slide very well. When I'm actually content is when I'm full inside. Right? When I experience fullness inside, be full inside, let the soul be full, full of love, full of spiritual knowledge, full of power, full of goodness. Let the soul be full here inside. And then how should I be outside? That nothing belongs to me, right? Inside, be full. I have it. I have everything. And the moment I say, I don't have it, I need this, I want this, and then I'm running every time I'm trying to, get somewhere, get something, never peace of mind, never happy about what I already have. Sometimes for little things we cry about, little things we sit and think thousand times, why this, why that. There are so many people in the world experiencing very unpleasant things which are completely out of their control. There's so many things in our control and we can fix it and be happy. Unnecessarily losing temper, unnecessarily saying things, unnecessarily sometimes we create unhappiness for ourselves, thinking too much. It's like sometimes I can be the most beautiful palace like home and I can be so unhappy. And someone who is sitting on a floor and he can be happy. So, what is that? Where I'm going wrong in happiness? So, happiness, because we are talking, it's the value or the nourishment or the attainment of the soul. So, it is important that I take care of the soul. It's important I do some homework towards the soul. Don't completely neglect the soul. I am a soul. That means I'm completely neglecting my own self, because we always talk about everything starts from the self. Well being is what? Being is the self, the soul. So I'm busy working and doing this and that to accumulate things for the body and physically the comforts. But what about the soul? The soul is getting so drained. I remember once somebody was sharing that he always strived to be to achieve something in his life, to achieve a certain target in his business. And he said, day in day and night he worked hard. And then when he really got to that point, he said, Adli, I really didn't feel anything much, getting to that point. And then he thought, what did I do all those years? So that's what it is. So somewhere understand and experience the fullness of the soul. The soul already has this beautiful qualities, this wonders in the soul that I need to experience. And we forget about the soul being full and then we are juggling out there. So be full inside and say, my hands are empty outside. Right? Nothing is mine, nothing belongs to me. Like our Dadi Janki. She always says, what do I have? My pockets are always empty, she says. But in the soul, she's so full. She's overflowing. So many times we are empty here and then searching for happiness out there. Whatever we are searching out there is already inside, and that's what I need to do, go inwards. Right? Inwards is practice of meditation or taking reflections in your life. Slow down, think about it, what's going on internally in the soul. Give time for yourself, listen to some wonderful things, strengthen your mind. These are the things I need to keep doing. And one of the things is, yes, so when I'm content, so when I'm full inside, I'm content. I have everything. I don't need anything. I'm content. When there is contentment, there is happiness. Santushtata and sukh, they say. When there is santushtata, there is contentment. It's like internally I'm content, externally I'm happy. And yes, altruistic actions. To be happy. When you do something for someone, first of all, of course, to yourself, be altruistic to yourself. You know, do things for yourself, meaning for the soul. In the same way for others as well, for the world. When I do something unconditionally, altruistic, without, I don't need anything. I'm doing for the benefit of everyone. It's like they say, when you do something good, just leave it in the flowing water, flowing river. Let it go. Don't count on it how much I did. So when I do something from my heart, when I do something unconditionally, when I don't count what I'm getting in return, those actions give a lot of happiness to the soul. And we all must have experienced this, right? There's nothing else the soul wants when you really internally experience that happiness. You did something good, which can be also said as charitable actions, or which can be said as good actions, kind actions. Another thing about happiness is optimistic outlook. Be optimistic, right? It's very easy that we become pessimistic, not sure how. But can we keep this affirmation? I want to keep an optimistic outlook no matter what's happening. Let I, the soul, internally create that happiness so that I can share that with others. Not look everything in a pessimistic way. This is like this, it's not going to work. That's like this, it's not going to work. Again, our Dadi Janki, nothing stopped her. Every time she thought, she had an absolute optimistic vision towards everything, a high vision. Never like, what's going to happen to me. Many have these kinds of thoughts before even anything happens. You're already creating in your mind that something will happen. It could be about old age, it could be about your examination, it could be about anything. And this moment is important. Let me be optimistic. If I'm pessimistic, then what happens? I make everyone. That's why they say happiness is actually contagious. What people do today these days, they go to these laughing clubs, right? Because we don't know how to actually experience our own happiness. This happiness is a gift from God. I have it already, and I don't know how to experience. Today, people go to this laughing clubs, right? I mean, I think for many years it's been going on. Have you been to any of you been to this laughing club? It's very funny. One person laughs, and then another one is looking at him, and then everyone is just laughing for no reason. You're just laughing. Why? Because they say, you get good health. It's nourishment. I remember many years ago, I watched this interview of a lady who actually turned 100 years old. And she was asked, like, she lives alone. She does things on her own. She's 100 years old. And when it was asked, what's the secret? Like, you're so optimistic. She said, whatever happened in life, I never took anything serious. I always try to be happy. That's the answer she gave. That I'm happy. I'm happy no matter what's going on. I'm happy. I keep myself happy. And so happiness is contagious, right? If we are happy, we make everyone blossom around us. Naturally, our happiness is felt by others. If my face is cheerful, everyone's face gets cheerful. It's not unnecessarily laughing, unnecessarily. No, it's not that somebody is annoyed and then I'm like, just laughing, and then that's not the point. But your smile, your cheerfulness, naturally it's contagious. Others feel the same. But I'm always sad. My hand is on my head. It's like as if I lost something every time. Then how will be the atmosphere at home? I still remember my dad, he never allowed when, if I was sad about something or upset about something, he never allowed me to eat food actually. It's not me not eating, but he said, if you're upset, don't eat food because you're insulting the food, he used to say. Whenever you eat, be happy. You got everything. so sometimes unnecessarily, right? So have that optimistic outlook. And another thing we can look into, what you know can keep us going in this happiness, can give us that nourishment of happiness, is these two beautiful words, sadhan and sadhana. So many in the world, right, today in the world, to experience that happiness, we are creating sadhan. Sadhan meaning facilities. Every moment we are like, okay, next what, okay, this iPhone and that model and this model. Go to a departmental store, so many thousands of things, and you're all confused what to get. Every time the world is creating so many things, so many sadhans, so many facilities, because we think that these gadgets, this entertainment out there, having this and that is actually creating that happiness. So the more we are going into sadhan, that is facilities, the more we are becoming, actually, we're going far from our happiness. Because one after the other, we are just chasing. But what spirituality teaches us is sadhana. So one is physically, right? That's what people think, right? When research was done many, years ago in USA, and the research, like, what makes you happy? The people, the first thing is wealth, huh? Right? Wealth makes me happy. Or some say happiness is in beauty. Keep beautifying your body all the time. Keep fixing your body. Some say happiness is in this and that, all physical. But every time we keep doing, we want to do more and more. So it's all about physically, we are actually, you know, fixing things to experience happiness, which is like sadhan. But a spiritual person, or, you know, like spirituality teaches us, do sadhana. Sadhana is go inwards, because your happiness is inwards, that is in the soul. So keep experiencing that happiness which is internal. For that you don't need any sadhan. You have sadhan, you have your comforts, which is okay. But I should not forget my sadhana. That is my spiritual endeavor. I should not get lost in all the facilities that I have. And this is it. This is life, this is heaven. I should not get lost in that and forget what actually the soul has it, and what I need to experience internally. So sadhana, go back to that sadhana. So increase your happiness here, not externally, accumulating physical things, accumulating more and more dresses, accumulating more and more jewelry, accumulating all physical. More and more do internal now, so that no person or no situation can take my happiness away. That should be my effort now. Little things should not make me sad and unhappy. That should be my effort now. Right? That's where my journey should go towards, inwards, keep going inwards to experience that happiness of the soul. No matter what, if something is there or not, I'm happy internally. So happiness, as I said, it's not always, you're showing your smiling face externally, but internally, that, deep internal stability, happiness, as we, you know, learned in the first few slides, that it's creating internal stability, internal power, internal strength. No matter what's happening, I'm stable. So many times there's another two, wonderful words in Hindi, udas and das. Udas meaning unhappy. So how quickly we become unhappy. So whenever, check now, whenever you have experienced unhappiness, what have you become subservient to that you have become unhappy? Think about it. Anytime we become udas, unhappy, that means I have become a servant of, some of you must be knowing this Maya. Maya meaning, uh, it's like this illusion which doesn't exist. But then I have become a subservient to my anger, subservient to my attachment somewhere, subservient to, somebody's reaction, subservient to this Maya, you know, these emotions. So whenever I'm unhappy means I am completely draining my internal power. Whenever I'm unhappy, that means I have become a subservient, a servant to someone or something. So do I want to be a servant? So udas and das. So I don't want to, because the soul is not a servant. The soul is the king. The soul is the power. The soul is the creator. And so to be happy is my choice and my power. Another two words that we learn is sati and sakshi. So you just learned, what did you learn? Sadhan, sadhana, which means facilities and spiritual endeavor. And then udas, das. Udas is that unhappiness which makes me das, that means a servant, subservient. And then two more words, that is sati and sakshi. This is another practice which keeps me happy, which retains my happiness or makes me be constantly happy. That is sati. It's a beautiful word, sati. Sati means companion, right? Whenever we want to be happy, or we always go to our companion who is close to us. We want to spend time with them, and we think, spending time with them, I'll be happy. But just think, no, no, our physical companions or our friends or our companions, are they always in the same mood? Are they always constant in the way they behave? No, right? Everyone has their own moods. So if I think, oh, this is my friend, I'll be happy to spend time with them. You don't know what their mood is. And sometimes it's wonderful, sometimes there is a friction. Not always I'm happy. But whose company is that I have to keep then? Who is my eternal companion? God. Who is actually the ocean of happiness? He's always in the space, in that stage of happiness. He's constantly happy. He's the ocean of happiness. And so sometimes, life shows us many ups and downs. But when we are with God and when we keep Him as our companion, I'm with the ocean of happiness. And so, how can I not be happy when my companion is the ocean of happiness? So, sometimes spending time with God as the ocean of happiness is beautiful. The soul is getting filled with that happiness. So, never, never forget your companion is ocean of happiness. Right? My companion is ocean of happiness. In a practical way, you may think, how can I experience God as my ocean of happiness? He is. Sometimes we are just confused sitting with God. What should I remember God as? And oh, how do I remember Him? Or I'm just sitting and talking all my complaints, telling my all list of things that are not going well to Him. But think about this. Whenever you go to God, just feel, oh, you are the ocean of happiness. And I'm with you. I'm experiencing happiness. Can I do that? And so when I am with that ocean of happiness, I have the strength to be Sakshi. Sakshi meaning detached observer. And it's one of the important powers I need to be happy. It is Sakshi, a detached observer. Many things in the world I have to see as a detached observer, right? But if I think, no, I'm the one to fix everything, then I'll be in trouble. Sometimes be an observer, a detached observer. Then you're internally stable. You keep your happiness. And so when I keep my happiness, that's when I'm able to give happiness, no? If I myself am not happy, how can I actually give happiness to others? If I myself physically I don't have any strength, how can I help to lift others? Uh, baggage. How can I help others? How can someone who doesn't have enough for the self to eat be a bestower? I don't even have, I don't have enough to eat. It's nourishment of happiness. What will I give to others? So when I'm with the ocean of happiness, I'm bestowed because he's ocean. So you go to an ocean, and if you just collect a bucket of water, what that does mean? What does that mean? You're limiting yourself. When you go to the ocean, you want to play. You want to be in the ocean, right? And so God has really given us plenty of happiness, and I need to actually sustain myself. I need to experience this attainment which I already have. You understand that? Attainment that I already have. It's not that I have to run for it now, I have to search for it. No, I already have. This is one of the affirmations, practices. You can always tell your mind, yourself, that I already have it. I don't have to run. I have it. Let me experience again and again. It's a practice. It's a very deep practice to experience. There are some practices. These practices, when I do, I experience the attainment of happiness. So eat enough, the nourishment of happiness, and give that to others as well. How do you give happiness? How do you give happiness? Hmm? Are you all listening? If you're listening, share. How do you give happiness to others?
By being joyful,
By being joyful.
um, by helping someone in need,
By helping
by
someone.
Yeah.
resolving some issues.
Yes.
I think for praising someone that's done a good job.
Yeah. Appreciating. Yes. When you appreciate, yeah, that's true. There is a whole research that was done at happiness at workplace, that many times we experience challenges that we are not enough appreciated for what we have done. Somebody works day and night, and we don't appreciate, um, but then it depletes their energy somewhere. The interest, or there's no encouragement, then somewhere, rather than actually putting them high up, encouraging them to do more with with our words of appreciation, their performance level is actually going down. In the same way, even with our children, no, with anyone in our life, when we say, "Oh, well done, you've done good," then how happy that soul will feel. Maybe that soul doesn't want our appreciation, but still, what is there if I give two words of appreciation? Oh, well done, child. But every time what we do with children or people, we push them to do more, right? We burden them. If the child gets this many marks, oh no, you should have got this much. So it's my happiness. Because of my happiness, is I am pushing, I'm burdening them, saying that, you need to get this much to fulfill my desire. So well said, Kathy. Yes, appreciation, saying a few good words, smile. And it's like these days we even forgot to say good morning. It's like, somebody, when they answer, when you say good morning, and if somebody responds to me as morning, somehow I feel very like, I feel it's like the blank needs to be filled. Say good. Why not? Why are we doing this? Like, cutting down all the wonderful, good words that we can use. Why even this thing about saying just morning? Why not good? Why I have to swallow that good and only say morning? Why can't we wish others
That's so
good
funny.
morning?
It's true. I have a friend who writes G apostrophe morning. Not even good morning. It's just good morning.
Right? Yeah. Like, truly, when if somebody answers as a response being good morning, I say, where did that good go? You don't want to wish me good. So why are we doing that? That, all the nice words, we are deleting them. And we only want to keep, such words. Morning. What is morning? Say good.
Put the
Like
positivity back into it.
like teenagers do these days. LOL. All that like shortage and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
Fazita. Fazita.
Om Shanti Madhavi.
Om Shanti. Yes.
I see happiness is a relative terms, how you see it. I used to do it in my office in the morning when sometime like in a line for the coffee. So
Yeah.
I find a friend or some colleagues behind me. So I already pay their money for the coffee cup and I just walk away.
Hey.
And when they come to the counter and then they told that okay, your coffee money is already paid. You see from the distance, or I mean taking elevator, and you see the smile on the person. It's just a cup of coffee, but it's just how you think about other people.
Right.
And
Oh, that's beautiful, Sudha. That's very beautiful.
it's just how you think about other people. Like I work in the public sector, so we are not supposed to pay the money or sort of a thing. But when the Christmas time comes, all my mailroom people, during Christmas and Thanksgiving, I just envelope some money, minimum money, just they buy the pizza. I say, just buy the pizza. It gesture
Yeah.
you bring it just small stuff. You don't have to be like a Bill Gates or the billionaire just to donate the money. We ordinary people can just give something and make person very happy.
Yeah.
Like
Little things. Yeah. That's why they say, little acts of goodness or little acts of kindness. Yeah. And so now, just two more slides and we finish. Um, so it's so when should we be happy? When should we be happy? It's right now, right? It's right now. I need to be happy. The more I delay, the more I'm losing it. So when to be happy? Right now, because it's my treasure. It's my property. I have it in myself, and I have the complete right to be happy right now. It's not tomorrow, later, or after the session, right now. So, one last slide is so every single day, it's each one of us need to make this effort to be happy, right? Meaning, I need to observe my happiness. nobody can, everyone can, like even this session, we all are together, reminding ourselves with these beautiful words, and it's me who need to do it, right? And so let me have this firm awareness every single day. I have to remain happy. And I am happy, actually. I am happy. I have to remain happy. I am happy, right? And then stay in the coolness of ocean of happiness. Never forget that ocean of happiness. He's always there. That ocean of happiness is always welcoming us to experience. And that's the DNA he gave us, to be happy. But anytime if I feel sad, I need to take responsibility, quickly turn myself. No, I don't want to be in this state. I need to change. I need to quickly shift. Right? So that's what are some of the thoughts about happiness. So, are you happy? Happy? Any
Very,
thoughts?
very happy.
Yeah. So,
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
So, thank you for your very sundar thought. बहुत अच्छा लगा. So I have one small curiosity. It is my curiosity, very simple question. Can you think of a happy blending of material happiness with the spiritual one? It's a blending because we are living in a what you call Laukik world, physical world. So can you think of a blending, a happy blending of material happiness with the spiritual one? Or we should completely detach ourselves from Bhautik Sukh, right? Bhautik Sukh, material prosperity, and this Bhautik Sukh which may not be sustainable again. So is there any possibility of blending?
Actually, but this is what it is, no? Yes, whatever we have, externally, definitely they are giving us that comforts, right? I think throughout the session, this is what we were talking about. It's not that we leave this world and go, or we are not hermits, that, we drop everything and we sit in caves. We are in this world, we do everything, we have life. But what we are learning is that what we have out there, materialism, is something that's giving comfort. But then that real happiness, that happiness of the soul, is something which is in the soul, and I need to experience. I need to experience that. So whether I have something or not, I can still be happy, right? And so that sort of, that sort of, experience I need to give to myself. I don't understand about blending, but everything what we have, we think it's giving happiness, but what is that real happiness? Real happiness is the happiness of the soul, which is not based on anything that is material. You are anyway happy, whether you have or not, but you can only experience that when you actually go inwards.
Okay. And blending means making a happy balance between two, material happiness and immaterial.
Right, of course, we do have everything. We are in the world, we have things. That's why we're talking about sadhana and sadhana, no? That we have sadhana. It's not that, I would not use them. I have them, but at the same time, what is the happiness of the soul? That I should not forget.
Thank you, sister. I was satisfied.
So there is a
Thank you, Sister Madhvi. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Kajal. Thank you. And thank you for the beautiful message. Whoever wrote, lots of happiness to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're always, guiding us in the right direction. So that really helps us to elevate ourselves from any worries or tensions or momentary sadness and things like that. So thank you so very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you,
Madhvi,
Sister Madhvi.
Thank you all. Have a beautiful evening. And this is
You
wonderful,
too.
great for us to come together and have these, few reflections like this. Yeah, reminder.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you,
Good
Sister
night.
Madhvi.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
sister.